Hello and welcome back everybody to F124, my team career mode. This is episode number 6 as we are heading to the Spanish Grand Prix. Now a few things before we get going with the video. I have been away for a while, and that's due to midterms impeding my recording process. No. I would say editing. Yeah, more editing and recording this voiceover that I'm doing at the moment, and that's why I've been taking long. So now we're back. We're done with the midterms.
It's a Catalonian qualifying for you today. Welcome along to Spain, to Barcelona, and wherever you are in the world, do you feel the need for speed?
So yeah, I'm done with those exams, and now I have a little bit more free time to get back to recording these episodes. Now, another thing I want to say is that I'm already done with recording this season, so I've raced every single race on the calendar, and I would say by episode 12 is when I'll release the new calendar for the next season. And yeah, that's basically what it is now. So we're gonna now start our first run in qualifying. As you can see, the tire temperatures coming out the exit of the final corner get very high at those speeds, so we will be facing a lot of front left degradation throughout the race, most likely. As I'm saying this now, but then at the time I did not know that, and that will have some consequences as we have a snap of oversteer exiting the turn 10 corner right after the DRS, as we are now heading through the final two turns and down towards the finish line as we clock a 1 minute 15.6, which is a decent first lap, but that really isn't decent. As you can see at the top left over there, we are pushed down to P17, so we were forced to go out on a second run, and we are using the same set of softs from the first run, so we're just gonna try to focus on gaining time in places where we lost it, most notably turns 2 and 3, or was it turn 1 where Tsunoda was kinda ahead of us there and blocking the racing line. I don't remember, and the exit of turn 10. As you can see by the end of second sector, we were around 8 tenths up on our previous time, but I believe this should be enough to put us in Q2 as we end our first qualifying session in P15, so just at the cusp of not making it into the second part of qualifying. And this is actually strange because I normally cut this bit out, but I guess I forgot, and I don't want to be bothered to redo this entire voiceover just because I forgot to cut a small section of video out. But yeah, unfortunately our teammate has been knocked out in Q1. I mean, yeah, she's inexperienced, he's still new to Formula 1, and hopefully with time, again, I keep saying this, he's gonna improve, and hopefully we're gonna see more of him in qualifying, maybe Q2, as he has, I think, made it a few times into the second part of qualifying. But yeah, the most important bit is to get into Q3 and hopefully score some good points in this race, as the next race, I believe, is in Austria, so a sprint weekend. I think this is the first sprint weekend, was it? Oh no, we had China was the first sprint weekend we had. That was a long video, and that is going to be a trend with these sprint weekends, as we drop to P15 by the time we start our second flying lap, and the goal is to obviously get into the top 10 shootout for the best possible result. As yeah, new set of tires, so we should expect to see an improvement around this lap. Now, once again, yeah, next race is going to be in Austria, the one after that in Belgium, and then the Netherlands right after that one. And then I don't exactly remember which one it was after the Netherlands. I think Monza? Yes, Monza. So yeah, those are like races where I'm really excited. Maybe not the Netherlands, a little bit of foreshadowing there. Not the best race I could have done, if I do say so myself, and you'll see it for yourself over there. But it's exciting in a different way, I would say. But yeah, we made it into Q3 and just about a tenth and a half ahead of Alex Albon, I believe, who was knocked out in P11. So we just asked our engineer about any chances of rain due to the cloudy weather, as you can see, and the sky is a bit darker now, so I thought there was going to be some rain coming down, and that means if there was rain, then we have to clock a lap early on in the session so we don't get affected by a wet track. And Russell, currently the fastest driver, 113 something, I don't remember exactly, but I'm not really expecting a good qualifying result. I mean, we made it into Q3, so the most we can do is probably like P8 with the current setup that we have now. Yeah, and I was using a used soft from the previous session, and that means we have a chance still to get ourselves up the order in this qualifying session and hopefully get a good start on the Sunday race as we begin our final flying lap, going into turn 1 at 320 kilometers an hour, as we are slowly gaining on our previous time over here, but we lose a little bit. We have a bit of understeer going into that corner, and that does affect us a little bit, but we are up on our time nonetheless, as by the time we finish our second sector, we are still increasing our time up to 6/10 gained on our previous run, and rounding the final 2 corners we need to perfect it, as we are gonna head to the line 8/10 almost improved, as we are gonna line up P9, so a bit lower than our expectations, as Carlos Sainz takes pole position with Max Verstappen alongside him.
So many eventful races here in Barcelona over the years. Do you remember Max Verstappen's first win on debut for Red Bull here in 2016? 2 years before, we had the dramatic coming together of Hamilton and Rosberg going towards turn 4. There's always a treat in store as we head back to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Norris, the owner driver, Gasly, Albon, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Stroll, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Sargent, Ocon, Bottas, Joe, Leclerc, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Alright, so we are now picking our strategy for this race, as normally would be a soft to medium run, but we decided that we will be going for a medium to soft, which if you remember my comment about the tire deg earlier in this video, it's definitely gonna bite us in the ass, as a bit wobbly off the start over there, as we're trying to get as much temperature into the tires. Now, yeah, I'm spoiling the video a little bit, but I feel like I should just give a heads up, I mean, not to forget that we actually got our first podium as well in the previous episode at Imola, and that was actually a very decent race where we made a similar strategy like this work perfectly. Now we are lining up from P9 with a perfect parking, as we're waiting for the race to start, as we have 5 red lights for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Max Verstappen gets a brilliant start off the line, already is ahead of Carlos Sainz, who was the man on pole position, as he is ahead going into turn 1 with Sainz behind him, as we make a huge move and bring ourselves up into P6 for the moment, as Piastri capitalizes on an issue that we are clearly having with the car in terms of understeer, as we are now currently fighting with George Russell, as we are holding on to our position down in 7th place. Now, we've been having this we're gonna have this issue with understeer early on in this race, obviously, because the tires are not up to temperature as they should be, and with time we should be able to get grip back, as we have a huge snap of oversteer coming at the exit of 10 over there, and now that gives George Russell the opportunity to make a move down the inside, as we are gonna fight our way back up into 7th place, and that really loses a lot of time for us. So now we are under threat from George Russell behind, and especially with DRS being enabled after the first lap, it is going to be a challenge keeping George Russell behind. We outbrake ourselves going into turn 1 as we go wide, entering the corner over there, and once again issue with understeer. Not as much as it was the first lap, but it was there, as once again a bit of understeer going into the corner, and George Russell takes the opportunity to try and make a move around the outside. We go in deep into turn 5, I think, as Russell is now ahead of us. So a little switchback maneuver from George Russell as he makes his way up into P7. Now we have a chance at him with DRS over here. Not the perfect overtaking zone after they reprofile the corner into a medium speed left-hander. But we are now a few laps ahead. Actually, lap 3, near the end of lap 3, that actually kind of messed with my brain a little bit there. But yeah, we lost the DRS to George Russell, and that means we are now under threat from Lando Norris behind us, and this is starting to become a pretty tough race for us, as we have yellows currently, but Lando Norris just doesn't seem to care about the yellow flags, as he makes a move, or tries to make a move, going down into turn 1, but remembers that there was yellows and backs off to avoid a penalty. But as we make our way up into 3 and 4 now, Lando Norris is on the inside line. We get a bit of oversteer once again, and that gives Norris... Oh wow, okay, that was a very aggressive move by us, as we're trying to reclaim a 7th place. And yeah, 7th place, because we had Alonso retire from the race. That was the cause of the yellow flags on the main straight, and with DRS we're gonna have a chance to close the gap on Lando Norris and probably set ourselves up for a move going into turn 1 after the long pit straight, with the aid of DRS, of course. And That's we need to just salvage as many points as we can after that great performance we had in Imola. So it's a bit inconsistent, the results that we've been having recently. Like China, for example, we had a mechanical issue with the rear wing being stuck open as we make a move down the inside of Lando Norris and reclaim that lost 7th place that we have given away to Lando Norris on the previous lap. Now you can see that understeer, it's very clear, and that means we are gonna have the only reason we have that much understeer is because of the front left being extremely worn out. As you can see over here, we're going wide off the racing line, and this is also another reason why I have the racing line only for corners, but that just gives me an idea of how much tire wear I have, or maybe if not tire wear, then like if I need to add more wing level. And as you can see right now, I pulled up the information on our tire wear as we lose control of our car, almost spinning out of the race. And
Sainz is ahead of you, and gap to the car in front, 17.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, they've done 10 laps on those tyres. We think they've got one more stop. And the time last lap, 1 minute 16.9.
nah, sorry for pausing over there.
Right now, come on.
Yeah, and as you can hear that, we were 2.5 seconds slower than Carlos Sainz, who was ahead. And this is definitely proving to be a tough strategy for us, as you can see Carlos Sainz, who was ahead of us, pitted and now ended up behind us on the hard tire, and 3 cars overtook us just in one corner. And that definitely shows you that the strategy decision that we have made for this race was not correct. And at this point, it's just mostly trying to salvage anything. Probably an alright result would be like to finish, I don't know, 12th in this race, as we are now heading to the pitch to put on the soft tire, and we almost lose a front wing over there. Like for us, it was just the front left, which was already worn out as it is, as we are losing position by position as we're strolling down the pitch to make our pit stop. Definitely learned from this lesson, from this mistake, sorry, that I've made in this race. And we are now exiting the pitch in P17, right alongside Logan Sargent, who was alongside us going into turn 1, but we make our way back into P17 after a small little fight over there. Now, as you can see, the front lefts are already losing tire grip early on in the stint, and that's definitely not a good sign for the next few laps to come. Now we have Valtteri Bottas, and this is only 2 laps after I pitted, and we already have a 22% wear on our front left. And yeah, sorry if I don't see many enthusiastic or as energetic as I always am, but yeah, I've just returned from university, and I just wanted to get this video over with, because I promised this video to be up by yesterday, and I wasn't able to get the video done by yesterday, so I'm doing it today and uploading it on the same day. Today is Tuesday, the 22nd of October, Tuesday. This is when the video is going up. So we are now on the final lap, and you know what, there is a small chance of getting points over here. Well, there was a small chance until Lance Stroll, as you can see, he's fighting with Yuki Tsunoda. If we managed to catch up, if we had an extra lap, that's all we needed, an extra lap, and we could have possibly challenged for some points. But Verstappen, who led from lap 1, is now going to cross the line to finish first with a dominant result, as there's no one in the background, as Leclerc is the closest driver to him in second, very far behind. He's just crossing the line. Look at the distance on the minimap between Max Verstappen and what's his name, Charles Leclerc, as we get a huge snap of oversteer. Definitely zero grip left in these tires, as we're now trying to hold out in P15. Around the final corner we go, and Magnussen, who almost claimed 15th place from us, definitely a disappointing result in the end over there, and I would never go for a similar strategy like that ever again.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
And you can really tell that they're taking this one step at a time, one race at a time, and getting the points on the board when it matters. That's what it's going to take, consistency and the bigger picture.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Alright, so we are now at the end of this episode. A disappointing result overall, as this result puts Verstappen 23 points in the lead of the drivers' standings, and Red Bull leads the Constructors' Championship, as we are in 5th currently. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode till the end. Please leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you haven't done so already, and have a nice day.